Chapter 5. Enter the cave. Your treasure is hidden in the shadow. You cannot achieve wholeness without confronting your darkness. Jung taught that the greatest treasure lies in what you fear the most. Look into the eyes of your own fear, doubts, and illusions. Do not fight them. Accept and transform them. My dear, there will come a time in your life when you will encounter your shadow. These may be moments of doubt, anger, sadness, or shame. You may feel that there is something within you that you do not want to see. But know this: you are not your shadow. You are something far greater. When I was younger, I believed that if something dwelled in the shadows, it had to be hidden or destroyed. Today, I know that the shadow is not an enemy. It is a forsaken part of myself that calls for understanding. Imagine that you have lost a precious pearl in a dark cave. If you're afraid of the darkness and never enter, you will never recover it. But if you light the lamp and look around, you will see that the darkness was nothing more than the absence of light. Do not fear of your emotions and thoughts. Observe them, listen to them, understand them. Your shadow can become your greatest ally if you learn to love it. Listen to these parables, which I hope will shed more light on the matter. The parable of the monster in a cave. In a certain village, there was a legend about a terrible monster that lived in a dark cave. For years, people avoided that place until one day, a young boy decided to enter. As he stood at the entrance, the monster rose and roared. The boy felt fear, but instead of running away, he stepped closer. Then he saw that the monster was not as big as it seemed. It was only a shadow cast by a small, curled up creature. Father turned to his daughter and added, "Sometimes what seems terrifying is merely the shadow of your fears. The closer you get, the better you see the truth." The parable of the white and the black wolf. A sage told the boy a story about two wolves that live in the heart of every person, one white and one black. The white wolf symbolizes love, kindness, and courage, while the black wolf represents anger, fear, and jealousy. "Which wolf is stronger?" the boy asked. The sage smiled and replied, "The one you feed." The boy pondered this, but then asked, "And what if I don't feed the black wolf? Will it disappear?" The sage shook his head. "No, it won't disappear. If you ignore it, it will become wild and unpredictable. But if you wisely nourish it with love and discover how it wants to serve you, it will become your ally." The father added, "It's not about destroying your shadow, but understanding and taming it. Even anger or fear can become your strength if you learn to guide them." The parable of the man and the mirror. A man spent his entire life avoiding looking in a mirror because he did not want to see his flaws. One day he accidentally shattered the mirror, and in the shards he saw his reflection from different angles. He then realized that his face was beautiful precisely because it had both light and dark sides. You cannot truly know yourself if you only look at one side. Shadow and light together create wholeness, the father observed. The parable of the king and his imprisoned brother. A certain king had a brother, whom he has always seen as a rival. Afraid that his brother would take his throne, he ordered him to be locked in a dungeon, forbidding anyone to ever open the door. Years passed, and although the king had imprisoned his brother, he still felt fear and unease. One day he finally dared to open the dungeon and saw that his brother was not his enemy, but someone who could support and advise him. What you reject does not disappear, the father nodded. It simply waits for you to accept it. Sometimes what you fear the most is precisely what can help you the most. The parable of the moon and the darkness. One evening, a student asked his master, "Master, why is darkness so frightening?" The master pointed to the sky and said, "Does the moon fear the darkness?" The student looked up and shook his head. "No, the moon simply shines." "Exactly," the mother replied. "You don't have to fight darkness. You only need to shine." The father, with a warm smile, turned to his daughter. "You don't need to be afraid of your fears and shadows. If you bring the light of awareness into them, they will cease to be threatening. Over time, you will come to understand that behind the sadness, fear, and anger, your unfulfilled needs are hidden. Be kind to yourself. Allow yourself to look as what has been hidden under layers of fear, shame, and guilt with compassion. You might discover that some of those needs are no longer relevant. For those, you can always look from the perspective of wisdom, understanding that even if not all our dreams come true, we are still alive and moving forward. On the other hand, you may realize that what you have feared to acknowledge is still alive, still important to you, and perhaps still waiting for you to say yes to it."